I think she was really, really shocked. So we had an hour conversation with Cameron before he ran out the door and went back to school. And the thing that he did, though, he was kind enough to give us a card that said P-Flag San Luis Obispo. Well, we're not going to go to San Luis Obispo to join a P-Flag chapter, but we joined the one here, and we've been members ever since. And thank goodness we did, because it really, really helped us get through the anxiety and the fears and the feelings, the emotions that we had when Cameron came out to us. Our conversation, even though it was somewhat abbreviated that afternoon, the one thing that he knew, I'm sure he knew, and he knows it to this day, is that, you know, we love him like the Dickens. I mean, he's just our son. And he's a great guy, and if you ever met him, you'd love him. In fact, Jack and Jean,
we love him.
Go to the same church that he does in San Luis Obispo, so they know Cameron. And he's a great guy. And I told him, you know, at that first session that we had with him, if people really, Cameron, if people really know you for who you are, this doesn't make any difference. Our fear was that people wouldn't accept him for who he was. But the great thing is that he has just blossomed. He is himself. He's who he is, and he's confident with it, and he's great about it, and we're about as proud as we could be. So, what would you like to add?
Okay, this is not my thing, but I will just add a little bit. And one thing he was adamant about is that he wanted to tell certain family members first, and of course he came home to tell us, and he wanted to tell my mom and dad and my sister and her family, and then that's all he cared about. He said, then, you know, as far as friends and other relatives, you guys are on your own, you can tell them whenever, however you want. But he was in a big rush to get back to school and wanted to tell all of his friends, all at one time, just get it done. And at the time, he was living in a condo with 3 guys that he'd known for, well, over a year, as he started as a freshman. And none of those roommates were aware. And we were very nervous about that. We kind of said, take it easy, take it slow, there's no big rush. But he was worried that he didn't want to start having different ones of his friends knowing before others, and that's why he just wanted everybody to know at the same time. And so he did, I think he took his roommates one by one and told them, and we kind of warned him that he might have some issues with some of his friends. He just wasn't too sure how things would be handled, and every single one of his friends has stuck by him, hasn't lost a single one over this, including all of his roommates. So I think that's something good to say for him and his choice of friends, and also the fact that I think things are changing a little bit with the younger generation, a little bit more accepting, which is wonderful.
I've got to add one little story to this, because my mom had already passed away when Cameron came out to us, but my dad was still living, and they lived in Texas. I was raised in the Southern Baptist religion, and so it's not what you would call inclusive, accepting, to say the least. My dad never knew that Cameron was gay. My dad passed away 2.5 years ago. Cheryl's folks, on the other hand, are somewhat local. They live in Santa Cruz. We get together all the time with them. And Orb is Norwegian and Ruth is Danish. And when we get together, if you get a chance to say a word in between conversations, you're very, very lucky. So Cameron wanted to tell his grandparents and come out to them about being gay. And so we had Easter, the folks came up and we had a dinner, and Cameron was doing his best. He was at the end of the table and he was trying to find a way to kind of end this conversation with all this hubbub going on. And Ruth, my mother-in-law, was very good at continuing the conversation. So he couldn't find an edge to get in. He just couldn't find that opening. So Cheryl came up behind Cameron and said to everybody at the table, you know, Cameron really would like to say something to you tonight. He wanted to talk to you tonight. So Cameron, you know, came out to the grandparents, and so Ruth, after his little sentence about, you know, I just want to let you know I'm gay, and I want to let you know because I love you, and you know. Well, Ruth starts into a conversation that she had left off. And about 3 sentences later, she stops and she said, "What did you say?" And Cameron says, "Well, I wanted to let you know that I'm gay." And she said, "Well, I thought that's what you said," and then she just kept going. That's our family. Thank you.